Starting. There we go. Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, Battle of the Bench Press Tips with Alex from Alpha Destiny. Before I get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. All right, this guy over here, he might actually be over here. I can't figure out what's going to happen when Skype saves a video. This is Alex from Alpha Destiny. We're going to talk about the bench press. Alex, before we dive into the bench press, tell us about some of your biggest bench press numbers.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. It's a great honor to be here. So some of my best benches include a 375 dead bench, 365 paused, and then 395 touch and go, and 405 on my ass off the bench, touch and go as well. And then I did a 347.2 in a meet at 163 body weight.
So your heavier lifts are recent. What's been your body weight around? What was your body weight been during those heaviest lifts?
Around 169 pounds, whereas my previous bests were between 163, 165.
So you kick my ass. My biggest, I hit like a 388 as a super heavyweight, and 392 and a half, 100 pounds lighter. I was close to 400 in the gym, but all the numbers aside, both of us have been around the 400-pound bench press mark. So I thought it'd be a good idea to put together some tips. So I'm gonna do 3, and Alex is gonna do 3. We don't know what each other's tips are, but I'm just tossing them in the fire here. I'm gonna start. Battle of the bench press tips. Number one of the ways I love to train is, you see so many guys going heavy. I like to do heavy. I like to lead my session with heavy, and then I usually drop down and do a lot of volume. So my heavy sets are usually intuitive. I'll do what I feel like on that given day. Maybe 365 for max reps, and then I usually drop in increments of I'll drop down to like 315, do max reps, drop down to 275, do max reps, drop down to 225, do max reps. So I like to get a lot of volume in, and I like to back my heavy work on bench with a lot of dumbbell bench press volume. So my tip is, I love to do a lot. I love to go heavy, and then I love to do volume. All right, Alex, your turn.
I like it. I like the incorporation of back off sets as well. But my main tip is going to be to use intensity work, specifically the max effort method, and 3 sets of 1 at 90%. I feel like a lot of people are not giving singles enough love, or just heavy repetitions in general. It's always the same thing, 3 sets of 8 to 12, or your 5x5s, which, don't get me wrong, are absolutely fantastic, and I strongly recommend it. I do it myself. But I do feel that when you go 90% and above, that's where crazy freaking gains are made, especially when you do exercises like the dead bench. So my advice to anyone trying to raise their bench to their full capacity is to include a lot of singles and a lot of 3x3s, a lot of doubles if possible. So you have to change your perspective in that you're still executing volume work, but intensity is prioritized in a major way.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That's one of the ways that, that's one of the things I've gained the most out of it, I think, in the last 10 years, is leading my work with heavy work. Every bench press session, I would do heavy work and then back it off with volume work. All right, now my second tip, and you might be a fan of this one. I absolutely love to overload the lockout. I love to overload the lockout. Anybody that's watched my videos over the years sees me doing a slingshot with chains and all kinds of shenanigans. When I was in the Tiger Fitness gym, I was doing, bands. I love to overload the lockout. I can get about just everything off my chest, but that lockout, when it comes to the lockout, I just can't get enough overload. All right, Alex, your second tip.
Well, I like that as well, especially when you do things like the slingshot and double bands. All these things are fantastic, especially if you're doing dynamic effort waves, But for me, I would say you have to rotate the variations. I feel like too many guys are getting overuse injuries and sticking to one style, because you've all been taught that you need to practice the bench in order to get better at it, which is 100% valid. You do want to do that. However, if you incorporate variations that are harder than the competition style, it will automatically rise. And this includes the close grip bench, mixing in pause and touch and go, slingshot, and doing a lot of pin work. I recommend the dead bench, doing for a lot of singles with that, and then just regular pin presses. You can do close grip as well. Then, of course, you got your double bands and your chains. I know Steve's a big fan of that. But the point is, you want to rotate the variations. I recommend the more advanced you are, the more frequently you rotate. Whereas if you're a beginner, less frequent rotations, but they don't have to be modified in a significant way. So you don't have to go from a standard bench to a Swiss bar bench. Just little changes like close grip, pause to touch and go wide should suffice for most. But that would be my advice. Exercise rotations, 100%.
Yep, and I love that you mentioned close grip bench, because that is transitioning me into my third tip and my last tip. One thing I see when guys are training the triceps is they don't attack the triceps hard enough. Obviously, they don't typically attack the shoulders hard enough, but that's a topic for another video. But, you see guys benching and then they'll go over and do some lighter-ish tricep work. One of the things I have always done, and this is my third tip, is attack the triceps with heavy weight. I'll go in and do my heavy bench work. I'll do what you said about doing pause bench and other things. I've always done a back off exercise on my bench. Sometimes that was a guillotine press. Sometimes, a lot of times that was a dumbbell bench. But after all my heavy work, I would always go and attack the triceps with more heavy work. I would. And it seems kind of counterintuitive to some guys. They'll go over and they'll just do light rope cable tricep extensions. I don't care how you're training, A-B split, full body, benching once a week. It doesn't really matter. What I want to see guys do is attack the triceps. We look at biceps training and we try to, a lot of times we'll say the biceps and the triceps, I'll just train them for about the same number of sets each week. I don't believe in that. The biceps are a smaller, weaker muscle group. The triceps can take a beating, in my opinion. And I like to do really, really heavy triceps work. My main one, obviously, is a close grip bench. I also have an exercise I do that I pass along to my clients called the Skull Destroyer, which is basically 50 reps of doing, lying tricep extensions. I'll do 3 of these, and then I'll do 3 close grip benches, and I'll just do a lot of volume on those. I'll do like 50 rep sets just until my testicles want to fall off. But I'm a really big fan of heavy triceps exercises, triceps work. All right, Alex, your third and last tip.
Yeah, I would say triceps is definitely the way to go. And 2 people have lagging tris because they're not isolating them. And I suppose my tip would be similar to yours in the sense that people are not hammering their accessories hard enough, period. They're just doing the classic competition bench, or maybe some exercise rotation in there too. But definitely no extensions, no push downs, no biceps. So many important exercises that can prevent overuse injuries in the long term and actually give you carryover. And this includes things like dumbbell pressing as well. So I feel like people need to treat their isolation exercises with a lot more intensity. Definitely go heavier as well, instead of just doing 3 sets of 8 to 12 on everything and not inducing progressive overload. Because it's all too common, for example, on skull crushers, the guy might load 95 pounds, get 3 sets of 8, and that's it. And he keeps using the same weights year after year, which is not productive. If you're able of doing more, if you successfully completed the 3 sets that you were supposed to do, up the weight 5 pounds. Try to induce linear progression, or try to even periodize some of these accessory lifts, which will ultimately serve you in the long run by not only correcting muscular weaknesses, triceps being the main one for the bench, but also enhancing your longevity and ensuring the best strength and size progression on all possible levels. So you're only as strong as your weakest link, and definitely the tris, or just other things that you could do, doing a lot of upper back volume, for example, maybe twice the rowing compared to your benching, right? Maintain that structural integrity. Things of these nature are all supportive in building your bench and keeping you injury free. So you definitely want to hammer your accessories.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you on there. My main philosophy in lifting is make everything in the human body from head to toe as strong as humanly possible. I mean, I don't like to focus on weaknesses. I don't like having most people focus on weaknesses yet, because they haven't built strengths yet. And, I want to end with one final thought on something you touched on. You even mentioned biceps. The very minimal style of training, I feel, is counterproductive to me and to a lot of trainees. I spent a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe 2 years where I did no biceps work. And on my bench press, I noticed my eccentrics over time. I noticed my eccentrics were getting slower and slower and more awkward and more painful and I was picking up more strains. And it was only when I started adding back in some bicep work that I felt my eccentrics feel more normal again, feel more regular. So my only point, that might, you don't attack something that's in that chain, you expose something's going to get weaker, and you can open the door potentially to something like overuse injuries. What do you think about that, Alex?
I agree. And I feel like people who, yeah, they should definitely train their biceps directly instead of promoting this minimalist advice of only focusing on the rows, which can be helpful, I'm sure. And for novices, fine, but it's not optimal. Everybody's going to do their curls for the best results. And I would even say doing the push downs with higher volume, with bands and stuff like that, just to get the, I believe it enhances the connective tissue. So I think curls and push downs are both important in reducing injuries and even tennis elbow and stuff like that. And especially if you rotate the variations. So I'm in complete agreement with that one.
All right, Alex, thanks for joining me on Massive Arm. Where can people that have never heard of you, and there's only like 5 people that haven't, but if they have no idea who you are, where can they find you on YouTube and on social media?
Well, again, thanks for having me on. If people want to reach me, they can find me on the Alpha Destiny YouTube channel, right here over here on YouTube, or Instagram at OutAlpha. And this is my website, outalpha.com.
All right, thanks again, Alex, for joining me, and I appreciate everybody watching. Have a great day.